Bother me? Fantastic.
No,
We've
I'm
got
not.
every,
I'm not.
is Ms. Jones coming? You know what?
Ms. Jones is here.
No, no, sorry.
Where's
I'm
Lonnie?
missing Lonnie, I'm sorry. I'm going a mile a minute today. Mile a minute, my apologies. A distinct difference and it's duly noted. All right, I will now call to order this continued meeting at 6:33 p.m. You have your agenda before you, and this is mainly a budget workshop. You want to take care of some of these housekeeping items first, just to kind of speed it along? You have a town square request for the second Saturday All Walk. That's this coming Saturday.
I bring this to you only because, as I signed it the other day, I noticed that, and Jennifer reminded me, town council is supposed to approve vending in the town square. And I talked to Julie yesterday, and she said, oh, if that's a problem, I'll not do that. But I do think they're gonna have art for sale and
Yeah.
those kind of things. So I think still appropriate to go ahead and just, if it's agreeable to council, allow her to, in the town square, have vending. And I think this is for the art walk on Saturday.
Yeah, my understanding, the organizers themselves are not pocketing anything. It's just trying to provide opportunity for local artists, exhibitors to try to.
But it had a
Have-
vending, she
You're
checked
right.
vending, so.
In accordance with
Jennifer-
policy, council must approve it. There's no alcohol being served.
Just like we do for the Fourth of July, 100-mile yard sale though.
That's correct.
Same
That's
here.
correct. So I would entertain a motion or discussion by council.
Move to approve.
All right, Mr. Nash is second, Ms. Jones is second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. You have a request for LCC DC Summer Camp.
I must admit, I don't know too terribly much about it. I see the,
Yvonne had emailed me and she had asked if we could put this on our website, just to let people know about the summer camp. And then she sent me an email, just a few minutes ago also, and she said she'd like to have access during the camp time of the surrounding areas to include volleyball and basketball.
Public use.
Public use, if it doesn't conflict with anything organized,
I don't think we need to even vote on any of it.
well, the only thing is, to put it on the website, no one is, it's free to, kids are not charged a fee to attend, correct?
I don't know if that's the case.
Just
Don't think
just
so.
to be careful. If, I don't think so.
They're in charge? Okay.
No, I think she is allowing like sponsorships, you know, like if kids are in need and they
I
can't.
don't see a
pay.
price on here.
I don't see anything that indicates that if a child wants to come, they have to pay.
The flyer as presented here, I think is suitable now. If you start adding vendors or
Yeah.
sponsors,
So this is
Do
the,
it.
this is the flyer she sent me.
Well, I think
If
so.
you want-
If that's what she wants to
okay.
put on the website, and that alone, I think council will have no
okay.
problem
I
with
don't
that.
think we should have Clay's Landscaping as a sponsor
Correct,
on here. and-
correct. Then you're getting a whole nother commercial endeavor.
I will note to you that, it says contact Terry Abston. She's the
4-H
4-H
person.
person. So this is a program through 4-H. They had it in Amelia for many years.
It seems to be in order. What is council's pleasure? Mr. Nash has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Miller has seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm gonna give that motion 7-0. Mr. Morgan, I know, would support that. I asked for cardboard recycling update just because a few citizens have really expressed frustration at the fact that because of the town shop situation.
We would have certainly given more notice, but they showed up to start the demo, and I told Dan, you gotta get this stuff out of here. So they had to get the cardboard out, and we got, I don't know, half a dozen bales of cardboard that we had to move downstairs, and I had to get it out of there. I don't have a better plan.
Right.
But I do wanna make sure this is something council wants to do. It's expensive with very little return.
Did we clear anything on it at the end? Did we net anything?
You haven't even paid for the baler yet. In 10 years, we haven't collected enough money from selling cardboard to pay for the $6,000 baler that
That
we
didn't include your labor of,
Yeah. No, it's, you gotta go into it eyes wide open, that it's a negative, a deficit. Now, recycling, I get it, I do it in my house, I'm blessed because I live in Amelia and you get unlimited
Right.
bottles, cans, cardboard, everything, so we're lucky, but,
Should we ask Nottaway County if they like to buy it and have it at a place where it can be used more often?
we'll
People-
donate it
Well,
if the county. will.
Eric, wait a minute, this is a role reversal.
Yeah, everybody's
I'm
looking.
trying to make a
Yeah,
little money.
Eric, we're all looking at you.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
if it's the interest of the council, we'll find a
It's
place.
such a long.
Dan's indicated it needs three-phase power, and running three-phase power down in that bottom, behind Jerry Cole, is gonna be an appreciable expense to get it down.
We should reach out to the county.
Yeah,
I think so
if you
too.
wanna do it.
Is that okay with the council to reach out to the county? Say,
Yes.
look, we've got a cardboard baler. We have folks that, we have no place currently to have a drop off that's
I
universally.
think that baler actually could also be used, if you put cardboard on the sides, you could do things like bottles and you could compact plastic bottles if they chose to do that.
I'd entertain a motion, however it wants to be crafted.
So moved.
Ms. Jones has moved to offer it to Nottaway County.
We want to surplus it, Jennifer, we want to surplus it.
Great call. The motion would be to,
Advertise that, don't we, for surplus?
no, you're right, no, you're right.
Well, I
Surplus.
think we're reaching out to the county to see first.
Yeah, let's test it. If they're interested, then we'll come back and declare surplus. So her motion is to make an offer to the county. Is there a second?
Second it.
All right, Ms. Williams has seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 7-0. I had promised to bring a name forward for the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I was made aware today that sort of a situation like Jake Allman, Mr. Alan Queen, who's also on the Planning Commission, would like to serve on the BZA. I reached out to him to confirm he's willing, he is. I'd like to put that name forward as a nomination. He would still have to be approved and appointed by the judge. But he's taken a keen interest in Blackstone government. From what I've seen on the Planning Commission, he was very engaged at his
He's gonna ask a bunch of questions.
yeah, I like his philosophy on the Jan zoning homes, whether you agree or not. He asked a question: why are we having a hearing on something that's non-conforming? It's a reasonable argument.
Catch them, yeah.
It's a reasonable argument. So
Just
I,
like the motorcycle track in the county that
Right.
you and I, Mr. Miller, saw.
Yeah,
Somebody
so-
complained, and there it is.
I would put forth his if council, I would offer that name to the council if council wishes to support it.
You need to make a motion for it.
I'd need a motion.
So move to support Alan Queen to put forth before the judge.
Second.
All right, Mr. Allman has seconded. Any discussion? Of course, he would have two hats, just like Jake did. But I think he's really interested in the affairs of Blackstone, and
I think he's run for 2 different elections.
yes, he
I think
has.
he's-
Lived here 14 years, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 7-0. And the last thing, before we get into the meat of the meeting, the budget, I'd like us, if we come back here next Thursday at our public hearing, if we could throw out some dates, and maybe we could reach a date where we can agree to ask Bobby Thomas if he can give us a tour. He's willing to give us a tour of the museums. Some of us haven't been in years. Just to see what it is that he's talking about when he comes here and makes passionate arguments about the need for tourism. So if each of us could come back. My best dates are always gonna be Wednesday nights or the first or last Thursday of the month. I'm pretty much locked into those dates.
Mine is Wednesday, because on Thursdays I'm kind of locked off.
Okay, so,
So why don't you just pick a date, why don't you just say the 22nd, so we can have a meeting every week this month?
that'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would make everybody happy. How about the 22nd, or just maybe Wednesday, the 22nd or the 29th, and we
It's
can
not
come?
gonna be that long.
No, it would not be that long.
And we can have one of the town bus here, and everybody can ride together and just go get the tours, and then,
Or we could
and
just
no
meet
meeting,
over there.
just
Let's
the
just meet
tour.
there so we can just meet
It's just a
We
tour.
could
We
just
issue,
meet over there, right?
meet there.
Yeah.
So you don't wanna get on the bus, so
No.
everybody can just.
just meet over there.
There'll be a meeting, we'll say it's people that council.
There's gonna be a
can-
gathering, there could be, because it involves public real estate, there could be some chatter, and the public would be invited to tag along. And then if, somebody wanted to go out for a burger and have we can gather for social events, if one or more of us wanna go out and have dinner, as we're reaching the midpoint of the year, I like the little fellowship, but, I know everybody's busy.
That's a good idea.
Does the 22nd, next Wednesday? It will be good. Okay.
Let's pencil that in and confirm it next Thursday night, but let's pencil in Wednesday.
That will already have passed.
And
No,
that'll
no,
be
you're right.
6:30?
I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, so the 22nd,
Yes.
and we'll confirm it.
Let's shoot for 6 o'clock or 6:30, because people 6:30.
6:30, thanks.
And that way, we'll firm that up next Thursday night at our public hearing. Meanwhile, we'll see if Bobby Thomas is available that night.
Okay.
All right, so we've taken care of all that. Now, the main reason why we're here is a budget workshop continued. When we last left, we had basically taken staff's recommended cost of living adjustments that were at 5%. I think council had expressed an interest in reducing them to 4%. And there was some talk about merit increases, some of which we discussed in closed session because they involved specific employees, performance, that sort of thing. The floor is yours, Mr. Van Overbeck.
And Jennifer has done a very nice job putting this together for us, and I'm thankful for Jennifer having done so. She did a good job with the budget. Budget is still balanced with the same total. If you go, it's really the first page in this particular packet. So put that same spreadsheet that's up on the screen. And these are the changes as a result of our last workshop. Council did advised they wanted to see an increase in annual donations in their discretionary account, so that increase is an expenditure from 5,000 to 15,000. DBI, we have included a salary of 40,000. I think that it was intention of council to make that a $50,000, and that's base salary. Benefits are additional, so there was a 10,000 increase in expenditure there. HR consultant, I know we're headed in that direction, and we wanted to put some monies in there. Jennifer has received some stuff off our EVA solicitations, and I think what she's done is divided into the cost into three funds, 10,000 in the general fund and $7,500 each in the electric and the water and sewer fund, for a total of $25,000. Okay? If we go down here, we included the 4% pay for the 2 dispatchers or receptionists or secretaries that we have over there. And that was an increase of $3,860. I think the mayor brought up they would like to see the fire chief's salary increased, and we did. And it increased by $2,175 to a total of $5,000 annual.
Thank you for that. And just FYI, after the last week's meeting, I kid you not, someone forwarded me an ad. The town of Farmville is advertising for a fire chief at 70 grand a year.
70? Wow.
I mean, that's how serious it's a serious department head. It is now. It used to be somewhat of an honor among the firefighters to be the chief, and you had to do a little bit more work, whatever. But you know, it was an honor. It's an honor to be the fire chief. Now it comes with it a whole list of responsibilities, including a monthly report to this council. So I thank staff for that recommendation. I think more would be needed, but this is a good first step, and I think next year you might want to think about taking another big step. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Jennifer's listed as personal property ditch, but that's the private ditch that's over on Northwest Avenue. If there's a question, we did go back and include that, $87,000, which is the engineer's estimate for both sides of Northwest Avenue. We had a $50,000 contribution to our capital expenses that we were gonna try to make. It wouldn't pay for the full street sweeper, but it was gonna be a portion of an annual contribution, and we took that out, which was $50,000. I had recommended to council that we pay off 3 police cars that we had an outstanding about $65,000 principal obligation, and we took that out and reinserted just the annual payments, which was $17,500. Okay. Again, with the electric and the water and sewer, the HR consultant and electric maintenance, we reduced it by $15,000. That was really just a balancing act, just to find $15,000 that we could reduce in that budget.
What is your electrical maintenance what do you have that for? The 125 and add down to 110?
I think we did specifically equipment and supplies, because we have a separate transformer line item. We have a separate line item for capital purchases like a bucket truck, so it would really be equipment line items. Poles, wire, those kinds of things. But I'm comfortable in reducing, for the simple fact is, all that big expenditure that we've made this year, I think is gonna go down some, because the hotels are gonna be hooked on very shortly. We'll be finished over at Patriot Square. Academy Square, for the most part, is done. We've done most of the work at, I think there's still some work to be done over at VMAC, but for the most part, the larger expenditures we're dealing with.
And last year we budgeted 90
Yeah.
for that line item.
Dan had asked for an
They knew
increase.
it needed to go up because of the cost.
And everything is crazy more expensive.
It is. I wonder if that's a wise move, just for the fact that with the growth in Blackstone, I don't think, we're all fixated right now on 4 projects that we all see and we're impressed
There's gonna
by.
be more that comes
I just,
He also has $100 grand for
The
the
transformers.
replacement.
separate.
Yeah.
Separate,
Which is a big
we
increase from
hadn't
last
done
year as well.
okay.
Because we wanted to segregate those transformers.
So we didn't have them separated before?
I don't see-
Seems reasonable.
He's had it
So
in
that-
there before, but he's only spent 20 grand, it's only ever been budgeted at 20
20.
grand for transformer replacement.
So
So we have 100 in for transformer replacement.
So we're at 20 and 90 last year, is that correct? 20,
Correct.
that's 110, and now we're at
100 and
100 and-
110.
1.
You did.
Okay.
And then
So we're still.
And Jennifer's reminded me before, we get a jam, we can do an appropriation. We can find a way to make this happen.
It's never easy, but
You can't budget.
with as many moving parts as here, they're gonna be
We will
appropriations.
for the materials. So he does do a project.
That money's coming,
Correct, so then I can do an appropriation because we will be getting
You're
the funds
collecting it.
from the customer,
Gotcha.
whoever's purchasing the material.
Yep.
And I'll remind you guys, as the year goes, okay, as things come up, there'll be appropriations presented to you during the course of the year. If you want to stick pretty close to the capital projects we have, we've got them in there for the most part, but there's things that are not in there like tearing down the old school, things like that.
Which
And
could still happen possibly, but like I said, it's just not, you
We're not
can't,
sure
you
enough
can't
we're
put
doing
that
it
big a
there.
number in the budget and make it work.
So something had to give, and so we took several capital projects out,
And you and I have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, remember, school board.
either 9 or 10.
10.
Look at the calendar, with Dr. Grimes.
Yes.
Yep.
What else do you have, Mr. Bernobet?
Those are the changes as a result of the meeting. Again, Jennifer did put a little explanation in at the request of council that it was a 4% COLA, and then the merit applied on top of that instead of the merit, and then 5% on salary plus merit.
But the way this is looking right now, of course, we'll have a public hearing next Thursday. I think we just decide that everybody, or most everybody, would get the proposed 4% cost of living. There could be a few exceptions where
We
we've had,
budgeted for everybody to get it.
right, there could be a few exceptions where,
If council chooses not to do
Right.
that, they can pull them out.
because
and
of some,
we
maybe
still
some
have time to
performance
do that.
issues, that sort of thing. And then the merit, I think, you know, without revealing too much in closed session, because we did discuss some individual employees, a lot of us, including people who've been here a while and new council members, the merit increases, there were, I know your methodology was, but they were like, you know, it's like an extra 49 cents an hour here, and, you know, it was to bring people to a certain level, but it was a little bit overwhelming for the
We've
council.
made an appreciable number of changes.
Right.
That we'll present to you tonight, and it'll
And
probably
would you guys look
reduce
at
it
full amount
substantially.
work?
Right,
That's
right,
what it was.
right.
A lot of compensation studies, I did clean it up and give it better
Right.
description.
Right. And the question, you know, like I said, I had a little Facebook Live this morning. I asked a question. We all know right now inflation is 8.5%. It's at a 40-year high. And that doesn't, you know, when you look at gas and food, gas is 100% higher than it was 2 years ago. And then if you give employees 4 or even 5% raises, are they keeping pace with inflation? And the answer is no. But then the other question is, are the employees out there in Blackstone who are helping provide the tax revenue, are they getting 8 and 9 and 10 to keep up with inflation? I would dare say no. But we've got some really skilled professionals at a lot of different levels, from department heads, some of whom are here tonight, to just folks who do their job well. And you know, we want to try to keep the head above water. Do you see the need for a closed session? I know there's one matter, a very sensitive personnel matter you need to discuss.
Just brief, 10, 15
Right.
minutes. There's no action that I know of that will come out of this, and we'll present those individual merit
Right.
with the adjustments, and then there's 2 personnel matters.
One thing, the first line item up there, council discretionary. When we first started giving these donations, it was one time, correct? And I mean,
was one-time seed money.
Is this gonna continue? I just wanna make sure it's clarified then, if it's not considered seed money at that point.
It's a great
Just
question.
wanna put it out there.
Well, the chamber last year, like I said, we gave them 5,000 for the second year in a row, and, you know, we didn't have the fireworks because the firm wasn't ready for what, you know, didn't promise what it delivered, you know, didn't deliver what it promised it could do. So we kind of dodged one there, but yeah, 2 years in a row for Juneteenth. That's a council question, there's no doubt about it. I will say that of all the festivals I've been
This year
to,
we've approved,
right.
obviously. That's getting ready to happen.
The question is going to be: is every year is the town of Blackstone going to put up 5,000? Is it 6,000 to put on a festival? I will say the goodwill and the positive PR for Blackstone on Juneteenth. I tell you what, I don't know if I can recall a better $5,000 spent. And the fireworks that the chamber had the year before last were phenomenal. I mean, I've been to Pickett fireworks before. I've been to a bunch of fireworks. Those are great fireworks at Rosewater. That was, I mean, widespread appeal. Thank you, Blackstone. Thank you, chamber, for doing that.
I saw an article this morning, I just look at simple things like Farmville's closing down their municipal golf course
Yep.
because it's not a vital core function of government.
Yeah, and they got 2 other golf courses around there,
Yeah.
but you're right. Things to think about. Definitely,
And I want both of them to succeed,
Right.
but
might they reach a point of being self-sustaining at some
Correct.
point?
just a topic.
Yeah.
It's already approved for this year. that we've
I
already-
do think this. I think improving council's discretionary from 5 to 15, just knowing the nature of the beast that we're in on a month-to-month basis, we get in a bind sometimes. it's easy to say,
Correct.
motion approved, where's it coming from? The discretionary fund. Now, let's move on. But, good questions.
And the personal property on here have you already deflated it so that it would compensate for the increase in, I guess you'd say, what value cars are that you were talking about?
We budgeted a flat figure for personal property tax. So the 85 cents, if we leave it ultimately, I don't have a better number for you, but if we change it, we're making an assumption. So we have advertised at 85,
But we're gonna go down.
you need to go down, otherwise, but the budget reflects flat
Right.
collections or true
So I just
collections.
want everybody to know that
Absolutely.
we're not gonna make any extra.
Now, the
It's going to
county,
go down.
the
We didn't
county,
budget any extra.
the county, I heard if they kept it at 380, the county's at 375, they would get a $1 million windfall. That's what I heard.
And I've talked to Ted, and I don't know if where they're at now, but at one point he was talking about not true equalization, just some reduction. But we proposed a full reduction or full equalization.
Right.
It's close, within a penny, because we can't cut them in half, but,
If you got a 2015 vehicle that you're gonna need to replace this thing, you don't need to be paying more taxes on it.
Or 1994 Pontiac,
Go, girl.
the bomb,
the blue
the
bomber.
blue bomber.
Do we need any other discussion in open session before we go into closed session? Briefly discuss on these merit increases.
So I also have some things for open session.
Okay, yes.
Got your procurement policy. I have a flow chart here that kind of captures what we're trying to do. Pretty much we're doing micro purchases, $0 to $5,000 to just try to alleviate some of the, because we were doing anything over 5, we were doing 3 quotes.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's not.
That's cumbersome.
We were gonna do 5,000 to 30,000 for the 3 written quotes, 30 to 200, you have to advertise in the paper, and that falls in line with anything over 30, council has to approve, that's in our code. And then greater than 200,000, of course, that's where the advertise sealed bids, but you can always do more, if we feel like we want sealed bids for something between 30 and 20, we can, but this is basically, what our auditors are holding us to, this policy. So it's getting.
You can always be more strict,
Correct, yes.
but you can't be
I would dare say we'll bid more stuff under 200,000.
like the
Flower pot.
flower pots, or whatever.
Turf
You got
management.
sealed bids on those, but
You can always do more, but, this really falls in line with the DPPA. We're gonna really iron down processes, so it's not as confusing. We're gonna, iron down standardized forms, because some departments are using different forms, and then when we're training, it makes it very confusing. Like when Jackie came on, she's had one department turn in one PO request form, one another, and it's so hard for her to understand why we had 75 different forms. So, we're gonna quantify that. And then also, we're trying to clean up the appropriations. So Eric has brought up that he necessarily doesn't need to see appropriations if we're moving within the department. You will always see the appropriations because I need you to ratify them. But as far as holding up a PO, we don't wanna do that. So if the PD is not gonna use their K-9 funds, $4,500, and he needs a new computer, we have forms for that now. We're gonna have a budget adjustment form, a budget supplement, as well as a new budget request. So we know if they don't have the money in the budget, you guys have to see it.
Right.
Because I can't do an appropriation on the back end for something that you guys haven't seen.
after the fact.
Correct. And we all know that that's what's been going on. So we're cleaning that up. And this is, you guys can read this, it's on the drive as well. I'm not asking for a motion tonight, of course, I would love it, so we could kind of quantify some stuff, but we don't have our forms completely done. Jackie had got them done, I just ran out of time to put it in the packet.
But if they don't do it tonight, you would like it on the 16th,
Yes,
right?
please.
Yeah, I would definitely make
Give
sure.
you guys some chance to read it over, let me know your changes, if you don't think.
I like procurement seems pretty straightforward. I think that would be a quick motion on the 16th. That would be
And
very
it's
easy.
really just for clarification, so department heads know, what do you have to do if something is sold first?
Right.
What do you have to do if it's emergency procurement? Certain things like that.
But like I said, if you're a department head and it's something you think it's between 0 and 5,000, and you decide, there are a few folks in town that do this, I don't wanna make a decision on myself, you can,
You can still see bids.
right.
Sure can, and we got a form now where if you don't wanna do field bids, at least we can think Ben Green had talked a few years ago, a standardized form, where we're not calling one bank asking for a certain rates, but, I have a standard
Right.
form, so all vendors
Right.
get that same.
The banks would give us, we never had apples and oranges. It was sort of a little bit, okay, here's a carrot here and here's a little,
Right, so
Right.
we've just ironed that down. But I think the other item I needed you guys to look at is this economic tourism coordinator. So, we all know that in the budget, it was DBI monthly donation.
of how much, 3,300?
The
Something like that?
budget amount.
Okay,
Yep,
3,300, okay,
3,656.
okay, 3,600, okay, all right.
So obviously, when you adopt the budget, this one hasn't been advertised, so, no one's gonna feel this July 1.
Right.
But I need everybody to look this over real good, if this is the general description of work, Philip and I looked at it, I think Eric's looked at it, we really tried to marry, the DBI position and merge it with a tourism coordinator. I looked on South Bend's website, and they have an economic development tourism coordinator. I really like that title, but it's up to you guys, but we really just need to quantify this position. And then, of course, I put in a lot of detail. Philip has tried to talk to DBI, Kevin will go over it a little bit more.
I drafted this copy was given to, actually Ben today, he came out of the office and I gave him a copy of that. And Fields already called me and I told her, draft, council hadn't even seen it yet, so you've seen it now. And I'm sure they'll have some changes, modifications, so,
Bullet on the bottom of the second page is a pertinent one to have, conduct other related work as assigned. Because we really don't know,
Well, Mayor,
Museums.
you mentioned you envision this position working varying weekends and coordinating activities. So, not real sure on, the exact hours for this position. I'm sure when you guys start conducting interviews, you're gonna be asked that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the vision is.
Right.
Um,
Well, they'll answer to the town manager. That's one thing I want to make clear.
so
That,
will their schedule vary week to week? Will it
Right.
stay pretty
it may have to, if there's
Right.
art and crafts, obviously, you may have to.
Do you guys have to anticipate when you want the museum open?
this person will be, in my opinion, Billy's even mentioned this himself, that this person will be responsible for helping find volunteers and coordinate that, so maybe he can be a 9 to 5 job or whatever during the week, and then it's volunteers.
he's got the volunteers lined up. He may not have to be here every weekend. You know,
Correct.
I know I
That's
wouldn't
why
want
it's
to, but
fluid.
What you may wanna do too is consider exempt or non-exempt.
for OT or comp
So
time.
they can just, they can be eligible for comp time or just say the schedule is such.
Right.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're here on these particular days, but I don't think making every Saturday or every Sunday
No.
is necessary. I don't think that's-
But those museums, my vision, of course, it's up to the council. I think that if you're going to do it and have any chance of,
Being successful.
you've got to commit, in my opinion, for at
Well,
least a
that's
year or
why
two,
I hope this
Thursdays
person
through Sundays.
Glue all that together.
But if this
Right, or
person
make Thursdays and Saturdays.
does do the few days a week, and then, but it will be their responsibility to find volunteers for the weekends.
Certainly for the, if
Or
our intention is to
interns,
keep the
whatever they
museums open.
Interns from Longwood, as Mr. Bobby Thomas has talked about, so.
And
Yeah.
the armory, whatever's going on and helping to coordinate with.
I don't want us to stray away from this person, individual, he, she, whatever it be, to not being here during the week, because on the weekend, not as much work can get done. If this is an economic development position, you want that person to be available Monday through Friday. So we don't want to say, oh, well, you're only gonna be in the office one day during the week, and then
Right.
you're here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the museum.
But I am hoping this person will do promotions, stuff in the town square and events and
We had
movie night and
discussed-
all that kind of stuff.
We had discussed with DBI that we would like this person, I know Jennifer and Christine and myself did have, the Facebook where we would like this person to be in charge of getting that stuff amplified again.
We need some whoever is chosen needs to be enthusiastic. We need to kind of never wonder what's going on because they're letting us all know through whatever, word of mouth, social media, whatever. You know,
Just urge you to really read over this.
it's important because we're creating a kind of a free agent wild card employee.
Right,
That
so
could-
you can even see this position will have varying evening and weekend activities where participation will be expected or required. You guys need to be prepared. This said employee may not adhere to those, may not, and you may be disappointed. You need to realize what we will gauge them on in their evaluations down the road.
Yeah, and ambiguity, anything vague breeds,
You're given
you get somebody out there, I don't do Mondays because I did Saturdays, that sort of thing. But then you realize,
But you can also find yourself way exceeding budget with overtime.
Yeah.
I had to be here Saturday and instead of not coming in
Well, we
Thursday or
have
just
no
instead.
overtime budgeted, unlike your other departments,
go
there
cautious on it.
there is budgeted overtime for meetings and such, so his suggestion on the exempt, or
Make it an exempt
non-exempt.
position for
I think so, because the nature of the beast is gonna be more weekend stuff, more Friday, Saturday night type stuff. That's just the nature of the beast. If they means that a Monday or Tuesday they don't come in, that's fine. But again, I want them to someone that's gonna work under the town manager, and also if the Patels or whoever, there's another group coming in and you've got a conflict, you feel confident, you can take them, and they can tell the town's message to whomever is.
I think she did have a point in there with the County Economic Development Committee, whatever they call it.
Whatever they're gonna do.
Reconstitute that may be.
Yeah, whatever they're gonna do, whenever they're gonna do it, but meanwhile, I think it's best for Blackstone to work with the county when that time comes. Meanwhile, I think we need to be out there, selling Blackstone. Promoting Blackstone.
There is, just one quick point, like DBI handles the town square, the girls next door handle Sea Park, I handle Wigglesworth. I think it should all be with one, it should be with one person. You know, we can't keep track of it if it's one person with any of the people that use the town facilities. It should probably be this person here, and they handle the booking and the scheduling and all of that.
And they would know the policies of Sea Park policy is a little different than the square. I think that's great. This person should be plenty busy.
Speaking of Sea Park, I went by there a couple of weekends ago and somebody was had the vehicles pulled up in the grass next to the gazebo.
We're getting a lot of complaints about people coming in the back of the park and parking, and I sent y'all a complaint today from a neighbor in the area.
Gate is shut, but I think what they're doing is the gate hasn't been closed since the roofers were there, and I think people have been driving in.
Yeah.
You know, the roofers may have left the gate unlocked, or I saw your picture today. I gotta
Yeah.
go over and find it. But it looks like they drove in from the church side.
Right.
They were facing Oak Street.
Right.
I'll check the gate, but there is a gate over there to lock and see.
And
but-
we're paying money to have that fertilizer, and people are traveling all over.
Well, yeah, but there's a driveway. If you've ever been in there, there's a driveway in front of those Christmas houses, and that's what they're on. But yes, it needs to be kept up and locked.
I recommend that at the next meeting, which will be the Thursday, June 16th, the council be prepared to adopt the procurement that's recommended by both our finance director and the auditors, and look hard at the economic development tourism coordinator position so we can act swiftly on that next Thursday. Or we could probably take action on that. We can't adopt the budget until,
27.
okay, certainly before July 1, we'll have all this cleaned up.
You could adopt the budget earlier, but your regular scheduled meeting is for the 27th. It has to be 7 days from
Right.
public hearing.
Is there anything about a monthly report or anything like that? Just, I think that over the years.
I think that would be a grand idea.
I think it's a
Like,
great idea.
Put it in the package.
you need to
At least
know what's
preferably in
going
ro-
on.
yeah,
Well,
pref-
even if it's, I don't wanna blow
Mr.
overtime.
Whitlow used to provide one every month.
Who did?
Mr. Whitlow.
He did, and they don't need to come and filibuster at the podium, but I think certainly it's something at least in writing and be at the meeting so we can ask questions. Jake, I think it's a great idea.
And I don't know if that'd be other duties assigned or if that needs to be specifically put in
In
here.
there, report
But if he's a department
preparation.
head, he's supposed to be here anyway,
And then
right?
it's also in there to perform and inform town council, civic groups, you know, they are required to attend and present certain things. Of course, that's great. We wanna make it clear, that's
Make it
what,
clear,
that they
yeah.
shall be responsible
Put it
for,
in there.
getting it to Jennifer. And that may be something more, once they get hired, that Philip may need to go over with them exact
Can we-
deadlines and hours worked.
Once we actually vote on the budget, at that point, is it automatically that we put it in the paper that next week to advertise for this position?
Would this be a position that the town manager would hire, or would the council want to hire?
I think, I can't say on council's side, but Eric and I met with DBI, and they were very clear they wanted to be participating in the interview process.
Let's just be real clear one thing. None of us can serve two masters. And my vision for this is that the boss is the town manager. God bless our volunteers. God bless them, and they're great. But I think there's been problems in the past with, sort of a dichotomy of instructions from what the town needs and what some of the volunteers need. I think that if the town's gonna commit to this position, and it is, and I think it should, I think at the end of the day, it's like any other department head, it falls under the town manager. And if they want,
You still want them to conduct the DBI, meetings, correct? Like whatever.
Yeah, they can help guide this person on the-
With the DBI director,
Right.
and they still attend those board packets,
Yes, we're not abolishing DBI.
Okay, cause I did take an excerpt from DBI's
Yeah,
job
on that
description,
section.
they
Yeah.
had, and put that in there. But that's what you guys just have to really fine tooth comb, look it over and see if this is what.
It's a hybrid position for sure. It's definitely something that could be vague. It could, there gonna be some stumbling, and that's fine, but I'm looking for somebody that, and it could very well be somebody already employed by the town or somebody currently in DBI position. But I'm looking for somebody that's charismatic, that we know what's going on, and it's positive, and it's,
You're gonna have a lot of venues between Sea Park and Town Square and Armory and all those kind of things. It's, to keep those full, it's gonna take a lot of events,
right?
you know, and keeping up with them. We're hoping that Virginia State will help with some of the scheduling. The student from Virginia State will help us with the scheduling, and we have an expectation we'll present to you an MOU on the 27th between, an MOU, not a contract, but an MOU between Virginia State and the town.
Great.
So that's starting to bear a little fruit there.
Anything else before you need to go in closed session? I need a motion to go into closed session to discuss, basically, this would be personnel, specific employees' performance as it relates to merit increases. And of course, they would all be approved at a future, there won't be any action tonight, obviously.
No,
I need a
and
motion.
there were two positions I did want to give you a briefing.
And the town manager has update on a situation at the bus, involving the bus shop and what other?
Treasurer's office.
And the treasurer's office. Need a motion going to closed session for those personnel reasons.
So moved.
Mr. Jones has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand in closed session. Thank y'all for coming, and